First, let us discuss what is economics, and then we will see two different branches of economics, that is micro and macroeconomics. All these in very brief, because these are not very important from your examination point of view, but this is actually an introduction to this subject, and then we will move on to important concepts like demand, supply, elasticity, utility, modes of production, all these things. And if you see, in the prelims examination also, these last 4-5 years there is a trend of asking questions from very basic Indian economy topics, especially from the NCERT. So studying this chapter, this module in detail will give you an in-depth understanding of the basic concepts in Indian economy. Now let's see what is economics. It is a study of production, distribution and consumption of goods and services in a society. Now, as we know, economics is actually the science of wealth. That is, it is related to wealth. And now, how do we make money? Money is made in the process of production. We know that. So, production, that is producing goods, distributing it. Why is it important to distribute it? Because those who have a demand for the goods, or those who are in need of the goods, needs to have access to these goods, and it's done through distribution and then consumption of goods and services in a society. Now, when we talk about the evolution of the subject economics, economics has arisen from the need for goods and services by the mankind. To put it simply, we can say that there are a set of resources in any economy. So in any economy, if you take, there is a set of resources, and on the other hand, there are people or human beings, or maybe living organisms, we can say, living in that society or in that economy. Let's take it as economy. So in every economy there are some resources, and on the other hand there are people who actually need these resources. But what is the problem here? The resources are limited. The problem with the resources is that it is limited. Whereas the need and the wants, we can say wants or the needs, better would be to say wants. The wants of people are unlimited. That is, if you take any example, let us take your own example, my own example. You get something and your wish is not completely done, your wants are not completely done, you will want more and more commodities, more and more goods and services. Similarly, in any economy, when you take any economy, the resources are limited, whereas the wants are unlimited. Now, how can you satisfy these wants? These wants can be satisfied only by these resources. But unfortunately, the wants are unlimited and the resources that can satisfy these wants are limited. Now, what can be done? The only option is that these resources has to be dedicated to those wants on a priority basis. So here comes the need for prioritization. The distribution of the resources has to be done on the on a priority basis. Now, why do we actually need to distribute it in a priority basis? The reason is that the resources are very much limited. Now, economics as a subject or as a science will help us to redistribute the resources. That is, resource allocation can be optimally done in order to maximize human welfare. That is, these resources can be distributed in a way or in such way that optimum utilization of these resources can be made. Now, when we say optimal resource utilization, it means that these resources will be allocated for the most important needs or wants in the society. So, and through this we can ensure human welfare, and this is exactly what economics does. So, I hope this part is clear for you. Now, the subject economics can be broadly divided into two, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. Let's see what is the difference between these two. The first one is microeconomics and the second one is macroeconomics. Now, when you hear the term micro, what is that literal meaning that comes into your mind? Micro means small, right? And macro means large. Now, let's first see what is microeconomics. Now, micro, as we said, it represents small, or the literal meaning is small. Similarly, microeconomics is that branch of economics that deals with smaller units, or we can say individual units. Now, when we take economics as a subject, when it tries to study individual units or when it studies smaller units, it can be said as a microeconomic study. Let us take for example, I am an individual living in this Indian economy. Now, I am a micro unit. Why? Because the macro unit is the Indian economy in itself. The whole of Indian economy represents the macro unit. I am a micro unit. Now, the salary that I earn every month or the revenue that I generate every month, it's a micro study. Why? Because it's based on an individual or a small entity. Now, another example, when you study the profit of a firm, like let's say for example a small entrepreneur living in your area, so when you study about the profit that he makes every month, it is also a micro study because it's concentrated on a very small unit, and that's why we call it as microeconomics. So it studies the behavior of individual economic units like one firm, one person, etc. Example, income of a person, output of one firm, or price of one product. So all these are micro units. Now, when you study micro units in an economy, it is called as microeconomics. The second branch is macroeconomics. Now, as we said, the term macro, it means large. The meaning is large. Now, macroeconomics studies the economic system as a whole. It studies an economy as a whole. It considers the entire economy as one unit of study. Let's say, for example, Indian economy. And examples would be under macroeconomics, if you see what is the total tax revenue of the country, it is macroeconomics because we take the entire nation or the entire economy as one economic unit. So that's why we say it's a macro study. Another example would be the GDP of the country, that is the aggregate of all the goods and services produced in the country. So that's again a macro unit, and therefore it's a part of macroeconomics. It takes into account overall aggregates and averages of Indian economy. Example, national income, GDP, price level, inflation in the economy, all these are macro studies and therefore comes under the branch macroeconomics. I hope this is clear for you. So this is only the base. This was just to give you an introduction. Now, from whatever we have discussed about microeconomics and macroeconomics, you would be getting an idea which one is more important from your examination perspective. Definitely it is macroeconomics because we are studying the Indian economy as a whole. Now the question is, what is the relevance of microeconomics for us then? Microeconomics will provide you the base to study macroeconomics. Like for example, the demand of an individual, or how does the equilibrium function in an economy, supply in an economy. All these are topics which are important in microeconomics, and when you have an idea regarding these topics, this will help you in an overall understanding of the macroeconomics better. And that's why microeconomics is very important. And as I mentioned earlier, in the last few years, the trend that is seen in the UPSC prelims examination is that there are increasing number of questions being asked from microeconomics. So you cannot ignore this, and ignoring microeconomics means you are ignoring macro as well, because without the base of micro you will not get an understanding of macroeconomics. And now, regarding resource allocation, we will be studying in detail later while we study the budget. And again, we will be discussing about different types of market, how resource allocation is made in socialistic economy, capitalistic economy, a mixed economy like India. We'll discuss resource allocation in detail.